on top,
Yo,
yeah.
no, I ain't the type to give up. If I do something, man, I do it till I get what I want.
Hey guys, Coach Dan here. I'm a exercise and sports science degree holder. I'm a personal trainer and coach and have been for over 10 plus years, and I've been training in gyms for 20 plus years, and today I'm going to take you through my push workout. Now, I'm going to go through the workout first and then give you some context as to where I am and goals and all that kind of stuff. But if you just want to hear the workout, let's go through that first up so you don't have to listen to me jibber jabber about myself if you don't really care for that kind of stuff. So this is a push workout, so push being chest, shoulders and triceps. Now for me, emphasis for me is going to be on bringing up my shoulders. So I'm going to start off with some shoulder stuff. So we're going to go low incline, supine lying, cable lateral raise. So we're going to lie down in front of the cable on a bench to create really strict form, and we're going to do a lateral raise variation for the deltoids. Now, I'm also trying to implement a little bit of back stuff on this day. I want to get a little bit of extra volume into my back. So I'm going to do pull-ups, and I'm planning on doing those two as a superset, as they shouldn't affect each other too much. So we'll go a lying lateral raise, or that cable lateral raise that I've just mentioned, into some pull-ups or chin-ups, or a combination of the two, and potentially as a superset if the gym permits. So I've recently, this workout of late has been at a different gym, but for this gym, I'm not sure if it'll work well or what will happen. Anyway, okay, so we've got those two lateral raise pull-ups, then we're heading into a Smith machine incline bench press. Now, again, I'm gonna fiddle around because this is a new gym. I've got to fiddle around with the weights that I'm lifting. I've got to fiddle around with the angle at the bench, all that kind of stuff. Then we're gonna go incline dumbbell bench press. So probably what I'm gonna do, if I incline on the Smith machine, I'll probably choose a different incline with the dumbbells. And again, for me, the push or the chest stuff specifically is more emphasized towards the upper pec, as that's something that I want to bring up. Then we have a shoulder press machine, or a pin loaded shoulder press machine for a couple of sets, and then a easy bar skull crushers. So some of these things have been changed. This is a different gym than I normally do this workout at. So we're gonna have to figure some things out on the fly here. Maybe it won't work well week one, but some of the variations or some of the things that I'm changing is changing order of exercise. So bringing some of the shoulder stuff to the beginning of the workout, adding some pull-up or some back stuff to this workout as well, which would normally not be the case. And that's where we're at. So let's head out there. We'll go lateral raise first, and then we shall get into it. Okay, first up, the incline Smith machine bench press. So the incline Smith machine bench press, I do this particular variation on the incline, as the name suggests, to focus on the upper pec. So my emphasis, as mentioned before, is towards the upper pec. So we're kind of focusing here. And if we incline the bench, we allow ourselves to kind of focus on that. So you'll see that instead of on a flat variation where we might coming like this and kind of focusing through the whole chest, this now will have the arms sort of raised up and focusing on that. So I like the Smith machine due to stability reasons. So if we do this with the free weight, there is a balance issue, and they're probably going to be equal as far as growth or muscle growth goes, but I do lean towards things with increased stability these days, so you can push quite hard with no issue with that. So essentially what I am currently figuring out at the moment is going to be angle at the bench. Like I said, this push workout at this gym, I don't normally do. It's normally at another gym. But what I like about this bench is it's got angles on the adjustment. So this is a Paramount, the brand is, and when I go to adjust the bench, it's got angles on here, so I can choose the angle and be quite specific. So again, what I'm considering doing is different levels of incline. So if I do this one here, currently is at 37 degrees. If I do this at 37, then I might consider doing the dumbbells at 20 degrees. There's one there. So, but regardless of what angle we do it at, again, I want it to be towards the upper pec. So when the weight comes down, I want it to sort of come up in this kind of direction here. I also want my hand or my elbow to be directly under the bar, so we're pushing directly up. All right, so again, whatever angle you like on this one, you choose. And something that I would consider a specific tip is, big control on the descent. So control the way down, maybe a gentle pause just so it's the same every time. You don't have to, that's not a must. I do it this way to make sure my technique is consistent. All right, let's build up our weight. Let's make sure we're certain about the angle, which I think I am, and then we shall go for it. All right, just realized I made a bit of a blunder. So I said in the intro that I'm going to start with the shoulder work because I want that to be an emphasis, but just rolled into regular habit. So started with the bench press just because of routine. And anyway, so normally I'm going to start the workout here. So this is going to be my lying lateral delt cable variation. So I do this one because it helps keep your form nice and solid. So I'm going to lie back on this bench. I'm going to go cross cable to cross cable and do a lateral raise. The bench doesn't allow you to cheat or swing your body or anything like that. And I find it to feel very effective. It's not too much other than that. You could use, this standing. I do a behind the back variation. Whatever feels good for you. This is just one I've thrown in and quite like. So we'll go cross cable. Then we'll lie down with it, and essentially we'll set the height of the cable to the position that we kind of want the path to go through. So setting that cable height quite deliberately for the arm path that you want to take. So if I go, okay, I know I want my arm path to kind of go like this, I'll set the cable at that height and then go against it. Now, a little hot tip that I use the cuffs, like they use these for kickbacks and stuff like that. I use this here just so I don't have to hold on to anything. So that's a little pro tip. I've found since using those, it just feels really effective on the shoulder, so you don't have to hold on to anything. So nothing other than that. Again, being that this is at a new gym, I'm going to have to kind of figure out my new setup, where I want to set the height of these and the weight that I'm going to lift and all that kind of stuff. So might take a couple of weeks to kind of get the perfect setup, but we'll note it down in my program once I'm there, and then just keep coming back to that, maybe tweak it as we go. All right, let's build up our weight, figure out what we can do, and then go for it. Okay, next up we have pull-ups. Now, this workout so far seems a little bit all over the place, and it kind of feels a little bit all over the place. Again, starting out in a new gym, sometimes it just takes a bit of working out, but a couple of weeks should have it figured out. Now, I believe in the intro I said I was going to do this as a superset with the lateral delt exercise that I've got down there, so the cable lateral raise. However, that's downstairs, this is upstairs here in a mezzanine kind of area. Probably not very efficient way to go about it. Walking from down there, upstairs, coming over here. But I've chosen this pull-up machine, so there's stations to do pull-ups down there. But I really like these kind of pull-up machines where this is adjustable. Or maybe not. There we go. So you can adjust to width. So depending on your width as a person, it might be better or, more effective if we can get a width that kind of suits you as a person. So you think if you're a really wide person, it would make sense that you would need a different width than a narrow person. So that's why I'm doing this now. Again, efficiency wise, yeah, superset here might be good, but I'll figure this out over the next couple of weeks. So again, going forward, that's going to be first lateral delts. This might be second or as a superset if I can figure it out. So anyway, I'm going to do, this is, as you know, I mentioned in the intro, a push workout, but I want to get some extra back volume in. So how am I going to do that? I'm going to add a few sets of pull-ups on this day because I don't have another pull workout or back work until 2 days time. So my current split of training goes push, lower body pull, and then that repeats the back half of the week. So those pull days already have a decent amount of volume, like 10 or 12 sets already each for the back. So I don't really want to add any more to that because I'm just gone by the end of that. So if I add 4 sets of pull-ups here, that is going to increase our back volume, and then we can see how it goes over the next couple of weeks. If it's good, bad, whatever, see recoveries, check in. If it's helpful for my progress as far as my back stuff goes, that's a good sign. If it's not sustainable, then we sub it out. But for the time being, the idea is to get some extra back volume in, and this seemed like the day that made the most sense to me. Anyway, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 2 different grips. I'm going to do 2 sets with a overhand grip, and then almost, it's almost what we call a mechanical drop set. I'm going to do 2 sets with a neutral grip. So you'll find that with this kind of grip, you're a little bit weaker than this grip. So if I do 2 sets here, 2 sets here, it's almost like a back off set or a down set. So we're going to go overhand first, full stretch at the bottom, pull, chin above, full stretch. So a couple sets there, couple sets here, and that'll be all the back stuff we're doing today. And like I said, it's just about getting a bit of extra back volume. Now, a little tip or a pro tip is that I'm going to use these wrist straps or wrist wraps, which you can use just to avoid any kind of grip issues. Not an absolute must. People go, oh, why don't you just work on your grip? This exercise is not for my grip, it's for my back. So if I find that I have to think about my grip, or my grip starts to fail me before muscles through my back fail me, that's not going to be ideal for our goal. So wrist straps are a really good tool. These are VersaGrips ones, but there's heaps of brands out there. Just choose a pair, give them a try, see what you think, and you know, maybe it'll make your back training feel that little bit more effective. All right, let's go to set 1. All right, we're back on track. Incline dumbbell press. So I have done the Smith machine press incline at 37 degrees according to this bench. I'm not fact checking the bench, but it's got angles on there. Now I'm going to do a slightly different angle. So this is now 20 degrees. Doesn't seem very steep, but I'm going to take a couple practice sets to kind of figure out what height I do want to do this at. So I'll start at 20. And it goes from 20 to 30 and then 37. So on this day, yeah, all my stuff are kind of more towards incline stuff to more focus on the upper chest. And I'm just going to vary the angle just to kind of mix it up a little bit. Probably doesn't matter that much. But yeah, if I did the incline press 37, this at 20, potentially that's working some different areas of the chest potentially. So other than that, a couple of the ways in which I do the incline press, everything pretty much as normal, but I like to bring it down to kind of touch my chest or armpit and then press up. So bringing it down outside the level of the chest, I can feel the inside part of that dumbbell touching my arm and then press up from there. So that gets us that consistency, that gets us a big stretch. Take the incline or the inside head of the dumbbell, have it touch somewhere consistent on the chest, so we know it's the same each time we come back and do it. All right, one top set, 6 to 8, and then a back off. But I might just play around with that angle, have another look-see, and see if I'm happy with that. So if I do, let's say I do that angle today, 20 degrees, I'll note it down, do it consistently each time. On my other push day of the week, maybe I'll go to something in between. So yeah, we're just doing different angles to kind of focus on different parts of the chest potentially. This might be a non-factor, but I figure why not? All right, let's get it. All right, my other shoulder movement today is this pin-loaded shoulder press. So, pretty good, this one, very adjustable. Same as, I think this is Cow Gym, the brand, same as where we did the pull-ups. So they do well at making things quite adjustable. So, yeah, 2 grips here, 2 grip options. One is neutral, so this one here, one overhand. For this one, I do overhand. On this day, usually, which is what used to be at another gym, it used to be a neutral grip, which is that one, but for this machine, I found the overhand position to be most effective. So grabbing overhand, set. This here can adjust this way, so these can adjust further. I want to set it such that my arm and the direction that this is going is all in one direction, so one direction. So if this was too far this way, it would almost be like pressing around like this. So this is going to angle, the machine's going to angle the way it's going to angle, so we have to kind of adjust it such that it lines up with how our body moves. So I can see that my elbow and forearm are directly underneath the weight. Drive shoulder towards the head, control, and drive shoulder towards your head. So this will work the lateral delt, but also it's probably more leaning towards the anterior delt. So I'm pulling my shoulder in towards my head. And if we think about the deltoid and the anterior part, attaches to the deltoid tuberosity on the side of the arm, and then comes and attaches to the outside third of the clavicle. So you think about pulling these 2 points to one another to best use that. But again, you should get some almost, I don't know how much lateral delt, like with our lateral raises, but you probably will get some involved with this tricep because the arm has to straighten, has to work, but we want to lean it towards the anterior delt. That's the focus here. All right, only 2 sets here. 1 heavier set, 1 back off set. Let's do it. All right, finishing the workout off with the easy bar skull crusher. This is probably one of the all-time favorite tricep exercises for me. Even with, over the course of my whole training career, different cable exercises, this has always felt really effective. The easy bar, you could do a straight bar, dumbbells, whatever. This has just always felt really comfortable to me. I'm gonna do technique such that I touch it behind my head just to get a nice big stretch through the long head of the tricep. And yeah, so this one, potentially gravity is an issue with this. Like if you think about a free weight movement, gravity is always coming directly down, but your elbow is working on a hinge. So there's potential downsides to that, but regardless, I've always felt it to be very effective. I have my recorded personal records, so I know what kind of strength I've had before, and this is new to this workout. So I had been doing, on this particular day, a Smith machine skull crusher variation, nothing wrong with that. Just time to try a new exercise for me. So I'll take the narrow kink on the easy bar, lie down with it, take it up, control the way down. I like to touch the bench just above my head, and that's how I keep the technique nice and consistent. Now, there are lots of people who prefer different kind of positionings, like skull crusher, like aiming for the forehead, aiming for the chin lower. I've just always really felt comfortable with touching the bar directly above my head. That's always felt really effective to me. So, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. All right, we'll see. It's been a pretty long duration that I can recall since doing this in my program. So I will build up some weight and see what kind of weight we'll be working with today. Let's go. All right, that's a wrap on the workout, guys. In summary, a bit all over the shop, that one. I feel, yeah, this is a new, well, this workout is the start of, I've just been on vacation, come back, it's at a new gym, so there's lots that's changed exercises, and yeah, added some things like back work, moving shoulders to the beginning or lateral raises to the beginning, so just felt a bit all over the shop. So hopefully that I can smooth that out over the next couple of weeks and kind of get solid on it and start to make some progression. So yeah, 4 weeks of vacation I've just been on. Prior to that was a fat loss phase, and I'm going to head and finish off that fat loss phase essentially. So getting me to a position where I can then focus on muscle gain and performance gain for a good chunk of time before I have to focus on fat loss again. Or not have to, but again, if I want to keep a decent body composition, not get too fat, we want to kind of, yeah, not just keep putting on muscle, because again, we'll just have to sort of take away some fat eventually. So if we just kind of make sure we don't get too out of control, then, or if we start from a low point, should I say, then when we put on weight, if I put on 5 kgs from a lower weight, that will mean less weight that I have to sort of take off next time. Anyway, yeah, just getting back into the swing thing is a bit difficult, but should be good. Yeah, a couple of changes to the program. Going to start doing this session at this gym, which is different, and yeah, a couple of other changes to be had, but all in all, we're just got to get back into the routine, get back into the swing of things, and get it all going again. All right, as always, subscribe if you could, that would be great. Like, share, do all the good YouTube stuff, and as always, it's about progress over perfection. Coach Dan, signing off.